No. No, you fucking don't, because it's Let's Roleplay time! Hello, everyone.
Let's rum play.
Oh, God. Fucking rum ham. Anyway, hello, I'm your...
Oh, God, that shit's disgusting.
I'm your host, Duhad. Nice to meet you. I don't know why I said nice to meet you. Joining me, as always, are our... welcome back to the Infernal Pandemic. As I said, I'm Duhad, I'm your GM. Joining me, as always, are Winter.
We're all gonna burn.
Who is playing the character of...
CJ, the cyborg.
CJ the cyborg. We have Colonel Defraud, aka Kit, playing the role of...
Koenig Folke, the rather old military warbot.
We have our lovely other GM, but not right now, Belial, taking on the role of...
I'm gonna see if you can remember the name.
Well, I have it literally written right here. Moray. Moray, the Brigtitus guy. What the fuck do you want me to fucking read off your entire character sheet? Fine, Moray Steadfast, the Brigtitus Steadfast, whatever. Fuck you! The Brigtitus motherfucker who just contracted a virulent disease and is now dying because fuck you. Anyway,
because he can.
And introducing to the
Rocks fall, everybody dies.
Fox die, everybody dies. Anyway, and introducing to the channel, this is Badger. Say hello, Badger.
Hello. I will be playing a red Uluru named Nara.
And Nara here is a psionically gifted Uluru with some crazy cybernetic stuff, but we'll get deeper into that later. For now, the last two characters who are not here today, but do want to just continue to establish that they are around. We have Morath Graham playing as Admiral Harvey, who will hopefully be joining us in a reasonable amount of time. A former Federation medical ship's AI that is now running around in a robot suit that used to be painted like a Federation robot and is now blue. He blew himself. Anyway, and he has a companion who is... God bloody damn, my computer's so bad. Anyway, he has a companion named Winfred, who is an Uluru technician who helps keep him, working, and also... well, actually, she's not really a technician. She's mostly just muscle. Okay, she's got a little technician-y stuff in there. Anyway. So, finally, last but certainly not least, not joining us this session, but still definitely around in spirit, we have Bean playing as Tack, the Scav mechanic / cyberdoc. And
famous cyber. The famous mechanic.
Very, very famous.
Pretty nice guy.
Yeah, very cool dude. Anyway, so we're picking up where we last off in the last session. As a quick reminder for the players as well as those playing at home, in the last session, you guys had been following the tracks of a Atlas team. Led by a man named Alberto Agrippa, leading a crew called the Hellhounds, who had been going around from village to village tracking a Dr. Weiss, White Uluru doctor, who'd been trying to deal with a pandemic spreading across this planet. They had been burning bodies and attacking villages in search of Dr. Weiss, but because you guys managed to basically scare them off from their last kill, you managed to get a sample from from the what remained of one of the bodies that wasn't completely burnt, resulting in you guys finding out that not only was the person Dr. Weiss was treating have a second virus in their system, but they also had a bunch of weird nanomachines that you're not 100% certain of yet. Certain of, half in the bag. Anyway, God damn it. Anyway, so, point is, you guys then managed to get in touch with Dr. Weiss, and she basically confirmed to you that something's not going on, like something kind of like spooky is going on here. And she has agreed to leave the village she's currently at and hide out at a set location in the mountains where she will wait for you. Atlas, meanwhile, is going to hit the village that she was last at and hopefully not be able to follow her from there, but given Atlas, they probably will figure it out eventually.
Damn them.
Yeah, they're total fucking bastards. And this is a quick reminder for the people in the group. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll actually notice that we actually have some new art up, which is the art for this game, like the proper one, not the temp art that we were using before. So that's cool. And so you can now actually see in his full glory our main villain, and also Primrose, a character who has also had a prominent role in the main Rag game, in the one that we have not gotten back to yet, but is still kind of the main narrative that a lot of these other games were kind of tied into in ways that you'll find out later. Anyway, so that's all the setup. So we start the session, like we start now picking up where we left off with Folke. With Folke and CJ coming out of the hut where they had, out of the town hall where they had been in contact with Dr. Weiss, as Admiral Harvey continues to do tests and looks increasingly concerned about the disturbing discoveries that he's been making. Meanwhile, from off the ship, TAC waves and calls to let you know, "Not reserves are finished, yes." And sure enough, Nara, your silent companion, the Alluru, whose ears had been malfunctioning up until this point, hops off the ship to meet up with you guys as you make to discuss your next move.
So,
We have a location for our protection target.
Where is the location?
Get your coordinates.
It's like you are given the coordinates, and it's a mountain that you can actually see in the distance. It's a ways off, but it's not like so far away that you can't see it. Like not the location, but like the mountain.
Yeah. We probably best to head off before the Atlas show up there and destroy our protection target.
Makes the most sense, I think.
As you're saying this, Admiral Harvey kind of looks up from his test tubes and says, "There's something you should probably see over here."
What is it?
The samples I've been taking, I've been finding an additional virus in the bodies treated by Dr. Weiss. Also, he holds up a vial of blood and shakes it. There's something in here, like not an organic material. These are tiny little micro machines, little nanobots.
I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, be careful with those. We don't know what they do yet. I need to run a few more tests, but there's something here that's definitely off. This isn't a normal virus, but
And you inject it right in your butt, just like steroids.
It's a genius idea.
Oh boy.
I don't know. Is your butt still fleshy?
Hey,
Partially.
I'm just
his body.
Imagining he has one flesh cheek, and like the rest, everything around it is metal.
Well,
Very important questions are being asked right now, guys.
Oh Jesus!
The important question.
The way to think about ultimate life forms is that they're basically such a perfect synchronicity between organic and machine that they can basically either look like pure robots or pure human or like pure organic species. But like either way, they are like hiding the fact that like their entire like body is just wired, like is both like fleshy, but also all the fleshy bits are wired through with mechanical bits, weaves, like even their brain is like laced with electronics. So it's like from the outside they could look entirely human or entirely robotic, but you know, either way they look like they would just be a totally normal person. Outside of the fact that they are like internally basically like rewired to the point where they're no longer what they originally were.
So that doesn't answer my question. Is your bunt still fleshy or not?
We need to know.
These are real fangs.
It's important so we know where we need to put this blood, just in case you really wanna.
And you gotta inject all this panda blood right into your buttocks.
I kind of feel like there might be a middle ground here where it's all metal, but there's like this injection port still there because that's just the most natural way to go ahead and inject shit into Cyborg Junkie's body.
Mari having fun.
I like the idea that like.
So you're saying he has another hole?
Yes, I'm saying that you don't need to share him a new one.
But I love the idea that this is like an in-character conversation. Like you're standing in the middle of a fucking charnel house with like bodies burnt everywhere, like sobbing Luru, you know, clutching each other, like grateful that they're at least alive while like mourning the dead in their lost homes.
Can we say this is an in-character conversation?
This is revolutionary. You have an extra hole.
Like what's going on here?
All right, let's say this is in character now.
It is in character.
Unfortunately, that's a little bit too whimsy for Falke. Though, I mean, he totally could just go ahead and talk in this sort of situation. But he's going to look at Harvey and go, is there anything more of value you can get here?
Harvey kind of looks around and says, I don't think so. I think at this point,
then
I've got the samples. All right, well, yeah, I'm going to need to do some more tests, but...
I'll look at these nanobots on the machine.
He looks over at Nara real quick and actually goes, "Oh, you're back. Didn't notice."
Didn't take too long. My grades are gone though.
Oh, good.
Finally.
Yeah, he walks over and kind of just in a doctorly way, but without asking permission, he just sort of grabs the side of your head and like turns it slightly to look at your ears. He goes, yes, it does look like you're in working condition. Excellent. You never trust. Well, it's fine. Anyway, these frontier types are very ingenuitive.
Ingenuitive.
Yeah, and that word sounds weird. Anyway, he's like, oh no, these frontier types with their mechanics, they're very impressive, you know, for what they have.
By the way, while this conversation is going on, the wind is starting to kick up around them.
Okay. Oh, wait. Sorry. Let's go.
What the fuck?
Hopped on the ship. Full helicopter.
The space helicopter.
The
Space helicopter. This is the
I'm
name.
just imagining like a helicopter in space.
I'm just imagining this actually
The propellers are completely useless.
I'm just imagining this is like an actual conversation between them all. Like everyone get on the helicopter. I mean ship. Space helicopter.
Oh man.
That's the plan. Space helicopter.
Space helicopter.
Yeah, like as you're saying this, Tack is actually like looking up at the ship at the chopper now, just like rubbing his jaw, like clearly starting to think about like how would one go about making a space helicopter.
It wouldn't work.
And
does this happen?
Yeah,
it's just a spaceship, but you add a cosmetic onto it that makes it look like a helicopter.
You have propellers that'll do nothing just because it's in space.
Yeah.
Or even better, on each blade of the propeller, there's a jet end, there's an engine.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, you use those as distributed maneuvering jets.
There you go.
The worst part is that you would only move up or down.
So anyway, well, like I said, it's like you're basically flying in the Firebrand from XCOM 2. Like it's got like a rotating.
I'm so glad I don't know what that is.
You should play some XCOM 2. Anyway, so you guys shut up. Anyway, so you guys take off, and the village disappears underneath you as you turn and start flying off towards the mountains. And as you do so, I'm gonna roll for Doc Harvey. Oh shit, that was an incredible roll. So Doc Harvey is busy working on the blood sample and is like,
Is this what the roll is for?
Yeah, so he goes, oh god, yes, there you go. But no, he goes, okay. And he looks at CJ especially and says, I'm not sure what this is exactly, but it appears to be a booster of some sort. It increases the physical strength and endurance of the affected. I assume Dr. Weiss was using it to try to bolster the immune system of the victims in order to help them fight the virus.
Already put it in my eyes.
Boy, right in my junk.
Right. He's gonna take 1 minute to. He's gonna take a few minutes to look over the nano machines to make sure they don't tear him limb from limb before he injects it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you can look at them all you want. They're nano machines. You can't. There's no like printed warning label on them that says this is how it works.
Yeah, and then he decides screw it and just.
That makes it super untrustworthy, though.
Yeah.
We don't know if there are any side effects from this. Isn't she trying to? She's like trying to stop viruses or whatever, but we don't know if any of it actually worked.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And actually, as you inject yourself, Doc Harvey kind of lets out a mechanical sigh and says, which I was going to say would probably assist in Uluru. Probably wasn't designed for humans, so you know that's
my cybernetics will take care of it if it's bad for me.
He sighs and goes, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Fine.
Fine. Deal with it. I believe in you.
He looks over at Nara and says, by the way, it's for Uluru if you want to decide to join him in injecting strange blood into your body. There's a slight chance it's better for you.
No, thank you.
Good call.
The last person who had that died.
So, over the ship intercom comes, did I just hear that someone volunteered themselves as a test subject?
And you're never going to guess who.
The cause of science thanks you.
You got it!
You got it, science.
Up in the cockpit, I guess Moray, are you in the back with them, or are you in the the front?
Shit.
He's just away thinking about his.
And by the way, like your suit can fold up tight enough that you can fit into the cockpit.
Right. Which one's high and which one's low?
High's the cockpit.
Okay. I'm in the cockpit.
Okay.
I rolled a 6, so that's probably.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I asked mostly because I'm going to do a little thing with the people in the cockpit, and I want to know if you are there so you can be.
A bullet soars through and kills you all.
Yeah, a horse flies into the cockpit and spears both of you.
And he says it was a bad idea to inject your friends with the blood of the dead.
Oh, the horse knows.
The horse always knows.
The horse knows.
The all-seeing horse.
All-seeing horse.
No, you go
eyes
see.
Are dilated.
As you fly, you actually see Atlas. As you fly closer, you see Atlas descending on the next village, and have to make a wide berth in order to avoid, coming into direct conflict with them. Like, while they seem to be nervous enough to.
Can I look closer at them by looking through the scope?
Yes, you can.
Can we throw a horse at them?
There's no horse. I'm so sorry.
Damn.
Please do not put holes in the cockpit.
Yeah. So what I'm imagining is actually happening is he's basically folding out his rifle and then just pulling the actual barrel back and just holding it up like it's like a it's like a box with a scope on the top.
It's a very big sniper rifle, by the way.
Fair enough. But yeah, so you look through that. I want you to roll me perception plus notice.
Okay. Let me just pull out my big dicey boys.
Dicey boys.
Yep, big dicey boys.
Oh,
Alright,
boy.
senses plus
Dicey
notice,
boy.
right?
Senses plus notice, yes.
Alright. I'm going to assume that they are not trying to stealth,
They
so
are
I
not
can't
trying to
use
stealth. No,
stealth.
this is strictly notice.
So I'm going to tell you right now, one of my dice was a 10. So, and the other one was a 3. Hold on.
Probably good.
Do I still take the minus from my?
No, this one is.
From my arm?
No, this one's not a physical action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird because you're using physical bits of your body.
I know. Basically, what you're doing right now is you're literally just like poking it. Like, this is also not a hard roll. Like, if you got,
it's not a combat roll.
Yeah.
24.
Yeah, it's a combat maneuver that are like slowed down by the thing, because like, the idea is essentially like.
Encumbrance, though.
What was that?
But encumbrance.
Oh yeah, the encumbrance would still affect it.
Yeah, 21 then.
Okay, I'm gonna say like if you got over 15, you're probably gonna succeed because literally all you're doing is looking through a telescope.
How do you fail at that?
Well, the idea is like you wouldn't pick up the
winter.
Oh, I thought it was full on
that's easy rolls before.
Yeah, no, like basically, this is not a difficult roll, but it would be possible for you to miss out on important details.
Oh, it'd be so funny if you missed that and you just drop your sniper into the space void.
Oh, that's something I would do if that was my character.
So glad I haven't rolled a bumble yet.
Because if you rolled a bumble, you might have dropped the sniper rifle out the window.
I'm going to tell you right now, April, I have horrible luck on this character, which means any bumble I roll is negative.
What's a bumble?
Well, okay.
I'm rolling a double.
Yeah, anytime you roll a double on your 2d10s, let me know, because it's what's referred to as a bumble, which can be either bad or good depending on what you rolled.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, you look through the telescope and you look through the sniper rifle scope, and you see on the ground black and brown armored Atlas mercenaries with a big dog's head logo on their breastplates and shoulders, jumping out, taking pot shots at Aluru defenders and rounding up others into buildings before lighting those buildings on fire.
So question.
Yeah?
Do I recognize the icon, the wolf icon?
You would, just because of the fact that you, okay.
I'm a mercenary.
We were briefed on.
You were briefed on these guys.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
You know these are the Hellhounds. If you want to roll knowledge plus brains, you might know a little bit more. But these guys are the Hellhounds. You know these guys are mercenaries for Atlas who are trying to earn their place in the Atlas system.
Okay.
Yeah.
What type of what's their gear look like?
They are decently heavily armored. They're not as heavily armored as their boss, who is, fucking like trucking around in like borderline power armor. But they are wearing like thick armor plates. They are armed with very powerful rifles and flamethrowers. They look well armed. There's not a ton of them, but each one of them looks like they'd be a pretty, gnarly fight.
Agrippa's there, right?
What was that?
Agrippa's there?
Agrippa is there. Like, that's actually part of what the role was for, is to see if you could actually find Agrippa and Primrose. Because what you see is you find, Agrippa, like marching through the village as it starts to burn. You actually see him corner an Aluru wearing a pretty nice suit, and he grabs him and throws him to the ground, and then levels his flamethrower directly at him and starts apparently asking questions. And when the Aluru apparently does not give him the answers he wants, he just turns on the flamethrower and lights him up.
Love that.
And as you're watching this, you actually kind of look a little to the side, and you see a woman. You see Primrose, and she is like, she's like turned away from the carnage and looks real bad. Like, does not look good, but you can actually tell because of the roll and stuff. Like, you can tell she's shaking, but she seems to be trying to keep it together as you know, the Hellhounds and Agrippa go to town on this village.
I think I see both of our secondary targets.
What are they doing?
One's killing the whole town, interrogating what looks to be higher ups, and the other one is looking away.
Looking away?
Good. They won't have the stomach for it then.
Yeah.
Looking away? Like, what do you mean by that?
Like refusing to...
Averting their eyes.
Yeah,
Refusing to watch. Okay.
Yeah, having trouble dealing with the carnage.
Okay.
Coward. No, he doesn't say that.
I think Falk is thinking that. Fouquet is thinking that.
Pretty sure we're the ones watching it happen.
Legitimately, Fouquet is thinking, oh good, they're weak, they'll be easy.
What a hero.
Well,
Keep in mind that we need to keep the secondary VIP, the one averting their eyes, alive, if we can.
Yes, and a weak coward is likely to run and hide and not shoot at us and get shot in return.
True.
weak cowards can surprise you, though.
Mm-hmm.
They frequently don't.
I don't know.
Warner.
I'm just saying that you can be unexpecting them anyway. They look weak and they may act weak in some points, but you never know when you're just laying your guard down because of that.
Keep in mind, I'd prefer if we don't injure her at all. But if we have to, we might have to break a leg.
We're a nice group. It's good to
Legs
know.
break easily.
Oh
Also
man, but
good
like
to know.
you know, legs are. It's so hard. Like once you crack, you can't stab.
What? You can't stamp?
Like, once you snap, you can't. I don't know. Fuck it. Like it's once you pop, you can't stop. But I can't think of a good leg breaking version of that.
Once you pop a knee, you just can't stop.
There we go. There it goes. Anyway, so,
You can't stop snapping. It's just...
God, it's like you're in West Side Music, in West Side Story. You just keep snapping.
Once you crunch, you can't.
Anyway, so you're.
Leg, snap the leg.
God. Anyway, so as you're, so yeah, you continue on, and the village disappears behind you. And
For the record, I'm going to try and do some terrain masking so they can't get a good sensor fix on where we're flying to.
yeah, like as you do that, like the last thing that Moray sees is, like, as you fly by, as much as you're kind of like masking and being careful and stuff, you actually see Agrippa's head like snap and turn to like follow like where your ship is, and then you lose sight of him as you move further away.
That's uncomforting.
Yeah,
You didn't see it. Only I did.
Ah,
I think he's just saying out of character that it's like.
well, I am, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as you roll me piloting ground vehicle plus let's call it this one a hand-eye as you try and fly.
It's the same thing pretty much no matter what you're going to ask me to use.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, point is just roll. me
For the record, does speed count in here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I should have been adding that in, and oh cripe. Give me just a second here.
You got it.
Yeah. Okay, so. Good fucking god. All right. So that's gonna be 2 dice.
So.
Sorry,
I'm just
my
filling.
head.
I'm just filling dead air while you calculate. Because if we're completely silent, that ends up being worse than
37.
Good lord!
Oh,
By the
God.
way, that was a 13 on the dice.
Oh my god. Okay.
What are your stats?
My drive is 9, and my hand die or agility are both 9 as well. And then I have a speed of 6 on this thing.
This is a very
Shoot.
yeah. So you you dip and dive and spin your vehicle around until
if any of you have any tendency towards motion sickness, it's gonna happen.
Today's the day.
It's like Winifred actually just like vomits out the side of the thing, and because of the way you're spinning, it's just like the spiral of puke going down the forest.
Oh, great!
Like, oh god, this is the worst. This is the worst thing.
Once again, metal is better than flesh.
What, these easy maneuvers?
I hate you. God damn it, man. That's horrible. Don't do that shit no more.
Oh, you'll love this when we actually get in a dogfight.
Oh, man, I'm going to jump out of the goddamn car and just, go and fight the people on foot, man. Swear to God.
I suppose we could use you as kinetic impactor.
Harvey just Harvey, who has through this entire thing been sitting perfectly still with his hands on his lap, just says, "I would appreciate if you didn't do that."
Gotta get every advantage we
can. While this is going on, though, let me see something here. Okay, Winter, CJ,
yes.
You feel something is up with your body.
Oh.
It's weird. In fact,
it's weird because you could have sworn you removed your bowels a long time ago.
No, it's odd. It's a very strange feeling. It's like your body feels like it's tensing up, but while at the same time you're not really tensing. Like, you're not really making any effort to tense yourself, and you don't feel. I mean, you feel a little stressed out, but you don't feel stressed out to the point where you'd just be involuntarily tightening up. And as you kind of move your body, it almost feels like you're stronger than you were before. And in fact, you get a permanent buff to your stats. Your grits and your muscles are permanently increased by 1.
Oh wow!
Oh damn!
He's going. CJ is going to report this to the doctor just for the sake of.
There's one more thing that happens though.
Okay.
You die.
No, you don't die. As you're
all of your stats are 0 now.
No, you do get another haul.
As your strength and your grits are increased, you also feel it. It's not like there's a voice necessarily in your head as much as your own thoughts change slightly and start speaking to you. Like, your own internal monologue starts actually talking to you. And you hear yourself, you think yourself think.
I think I know what this is called. It's called schizophrenia.
Moon baby. Anyway, but you hear yourself think, this is just the beginning. If you help me, if you do what I say, I can make you much stronger.
Oh God.
How do I help you?
Just do what I tell you, and I'll reward you with strength, more than you've ever had before.
I will do anything.
Don't tell the others. They wouldn't understand. They'll think you're crazy.
Yes, of course.
Just imagining he's looking down, like someone who's in the paranoia stage of eye, and they're just staring down with bug eyes, and everyone's like, "Fuck is wrong with you?"
Hey, you doing all right?
Yeah, actually, as you look down at your hands, without acting, without thinking about it, your hands curl, your fingers curl into fists and then uncurl. And your internal monologue goes, good. I think this is the start of something beautiful.
I think so too.
Your mind is suddenly filled with visions of blood. As
blood for the blood god. Blood for the blood.
Instead of feeling angry, you feel happy. And in addition to your +1 strength and +1 grits, gain the drawback enraged.
Okay.
And normally a robot can't really deal with that because like it's not really how robos function. But you're it's something weird. Something weird. What's going on?
Yeah, he's like about to speak to the doctor, but then just quiets down.
Yeah. So anyway, the rest of you continue on, and you arrive. You soon find yourselves in the snowy mountains, and while your scanners pick up nothing, you soon find yourself at the location given to you by the doc.
I hope you fleshies are able to withstand the cold.
I got fur.
Yeah, the two Allura look at each other like, we got this.
Got this.
You come out and it's like fucking absurdly cold, like colder than the home planet.
Yeah, Tack is actually just like looks around at you guys and is like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay in the car because, yeah.
Have fun.
It's cold here. I'm just gonna turn the AC. I'm just gonna turn the heater on and stay out here and wait for you guys.
Dude, actually turns the AC on.
Protect the car and all that.
Sure.
We believe in you, Tack. You got this.
He gives you a thumbs up and like pulls on a heavy jacket.
Damn it. I swear he got his clothing. It's randomly everywhere.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of blankets in the back that like were brought on by him, like, specifically because he knew you guys were going to go cold.
Anything. God, what a cool guy.
He is the MacGyver of this little company. But yeah, he bundles up as the rest of you land and prepare to depart. Kit.
Yes.
Does Falk do anything to hide the vehicle?
Yeah, absolutely. At the moment, okay. I assume there's a relatively clear landing space.
Yes.
He puts blankets over it.
I mean, we probably would use a camo net.
Yeah.
If there's a way to get us hovered in under some overhead cover, we're going to do that. And yeah, we're going to throw a camo net on there. If we have an anti-scan one, so much the better.
You don't have an anti-scan one, but you do have a camo net.
Okay.
That's the sort of thing where it's like, yeah, like.
Oh, the other thing is if there are any large, like, outcroppings of metal or such in the area, that are close to a decent landing zone, even if they're farther away and means that we have to trudge through more snow, we're going there.
I figured as much, yeah. You find a location that should be very difficult for conventional scanners to pick up on.
Okay.
And, like, you're reasonably sure that, like, Atlas is probably not going to be able to find you, find your ship unless they're, like, really looking for it. And, like, they kind of seem like they're more interested in conventional tracking methods right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will also set some security systems as well.
That's entirely fair. So anyway, as you set up everything, and again, Tack is going to stay by the thing and has a radio to let you know if anyone finds the ship.
Falke is going to look at Tack and go, "Don't touch the controls unless I tell you. You won't like what happens."
He nods and gives you a little salute.
Excellent.
Nice one, Tack.
That's Tack. Whoa.
That's our Tack. Boop. No, you guys.
Did I do that? Says Tack as the helicopter explodes.
No, so
lands in the snow.
Oh God! So you guys all climb out of the vehicle. You hide it up nice and good, and then you trudge your way back through the snow till you find yourselves once again at the meeting place. And as you do so, you don't see anyone. This place looks deserted.
Wow, they're bad at meeting.
Someone scan the area.
I keep forgetting what stats I have.
Did we get anything from the air when we overflew it?
No, as I said, you didn't actually pick up anything.
Maybe they're not here yet. Maybe they're late due to the attack and the amount of Luru that they're bringing, especially the sick ones.
As you say this, you see a figure trudging towards you through the snow. A little Chiron male, wearing body armor and, with a holstered weapon, like a holstered rifle. And his uniform, like he's wearing like it's not like a uniform. It's like a big coat, but the coat has the insignia of the coalition, the people who hired you, on it, like a big white skull with like weird eyes and shit.
Mm-hmm. And as he comes closer, you from the original bodyguard unit?
He nods, and he actually has like a scarf over his face, and he pulls it down and says, "You're with the, you're the backup who called us on the phone?"
Squeaking nod.
Yeah. He looks over all of you and then says, "You understand if I have to ask you for your identification papers, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, it's
pulls it out like the fucking the mercenary license, and like.
Yeah, is that something that we all own, or
yeah?
Frankly, if you're established with the mercenary union, then yes.
You all have paperwork that was given to you before you came down here, and
if you don't have this paperwork, you're an illegally practicing mercenary.
Yeah. You guys all have your stuff, and you. He kind of like trudges forward to pick it up, and grabs the papers and quickly like looks through them. He actually does a pretty thorough job of checking, despite the fact that you guys are out in the cold and he's clearly very uncomfortable. But he does his job and then hands them back and
some shelter.
Yeah, hold on, just our we got a location just a little ways up. Follow me. And then he turns and makes a high-pitched whistle, and suddenly from around like various like rock outcroppings, a number of snipers like stand up, dust themselves off, and start falling in.
Oh shoot!
Nice.
It's good.
It's a good situation.
CJ approves of the use of snipers.
Trees, or at least some wood.
This is an alpine forest, so an alpine mountainside. So it's snowy, but it's also got carnivorous forests.
Because when we reach the area, I'm going to build a fire because these are cold-blooded kiddos, and you don't want cold-blooded bug people to freeze to death.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair. So actually, what happens
is...
Do
we really want to be putting up a smoke plume?
But here's the thing.
They're also the ones who chose it.
Well, here's the thing. What happens is, as you guys are like led back, you find yourselves at a area that looks like a bit of like just a rock face. And the Chiron who had originally met you steps forward, puts his hand into a small like fissure in the stone, rummages around for a little bit, and then suddenly a section of the rock opens, and you find yourselves looking at a very small, not a big place, but like a small bunker. And inside the bunker, you see Dr. Weiss, the white Alluru doctor from your report, and she, as the thing opens, she turns and looks at you, and
I'm just imagining the sight. She turns and looks. There's like two Alluru, and the rest are giant robots standing over her.
Yeah,
we're here to help.
She craps her pants. She's like, "Oh my God, there's the Atlas here." No.
No. She looks at you guys and is like, "Okay, right. Come inside and close the door. Don't let the heat out."
All right.
You come inside and the stone closes behind you as the last of the snipers makes their way into the bunker. The bunker is it's not huge, but it's not tiny. Like it's
dark?
Luckily enough to hold a stupid amount of snipers than us.
Yeah, it's not too dark. It's illuminated by a couple of soft lights.
I'm going to turn on night vision.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so size-wise, just because I kind of want to establish like the location you're in real quick, like think about. I'm just trying to think of like I would just describe it by like a location that I know that most of you are familiar with, but I want to make it something that
the rebel base from Star Wars.
No, it's much smaller than that. It's like try to think. Like, I guess like if think of like a small cafe. Like if you've ever seen like a diner. If like either of you've ever been to a diner or if you've ever watched a movie that had a diner in it, like Pulp Fiction, like the diner from Pulp Fiction, say. Think roughly that kind of space, like a small store sized room with a number of cots lined up along the walls. A radio, like a communication system, set up in one corner, and a area that was probably originally designed for like tactical planning that has been reworked into a medical station.
Mm-hmm.
And there, Dr. Weiss is actually working on what appears to be a number of blood samples. As you all enter. She looks at you all and says, "So, you're the ones who contacted me from the village?"
Yes.
To be safe, we need to see identification.
She looks at you like,
is it not obvious?
Are you fucking serious?
He's just fly. He's just.
I'm gonna fucking face palm.
She's like, okay, hold on, and like walks over to the table and pulls out like a laminated card. That's like her doctor's like her coalition membership card and her doctor's license.
Yep, this works. He gives it back.
It's like, yeah, okay, thanks. Glad I passed your. And actually, like the thing is, she's not giving you like a friendly look. Like she's giving you like a dirty look because you look like a human. And she says, "Yeah, thanks. I'm really glad that you approve of me."
He just crosses his arms.
Anyway, we saw the Atlas troops not too far away from here.
Damn those bastards! They're ruining everything.
And they decided to burn up some settlements, and it seems as though they're interrogating people to try and find you.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in that village knows where we are, but they'll probably be able to figure out what direction we went in, and maybe some details. And this is a bad situation, though. I'm sure you figured that out.
Well, we can potentially set up a bunch of decoy fires.
That would help.
For smoke plumage.
Yeah, that would help. If you would be willing to do that, that would probably assist us a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
However, the greater issue is the fact that Atlas's interference is going to severely hamper our progress.
That's assuming we don't kill them first.
She shakes her head. You don't understand. The way they're burning the bodies, they're destroying the entire trail.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you elaborate?
She points to her workstation. You actually see a map of the region. Like it's a huge map of the region. Like it's like a planet view map of this section of the planet.
Is it a globe or is it?
It's not a globe. It's like a satellite photo of an area a couple hundred miles wide, like square miles wide and long. And she has there's like a number of points on it that have been like marked down as being the locations of villages, and there's a trail of there's like the villages that have been infected have been highlighted in red, and the villages that you guys have specifically been going to and the ones that you know got hit before have had that red had that red highlight been followed up by a black X. And she says, "We've been trying to find the root of this virus. We know that it started from a single location. We're trying to find where that is. Unfortunately, the trail is going to go cold if Atlas manages to burn out all the bodies."
Yeah.
They're deliberately trying to prevent us from being able to find the source. And I think I know why.
Wait.
Go on.
Nari has a question?
No.
Sorry, but if they're burning all the bodies in certain places, basically making it so it's almost impossible to find the source from wherever this virus came from, won't that maybe help you try to find out where it came from? Well, if they burn all the bodies, then the only places that you can get that virus from must be closer to where the source is, right?
She shakes her head. No, they're following in my tracks. They're burning everything that I've already gone up to. But the thing is, those bad trails basically mean that we don't have as many options to, like, if we're wrong about our current trail, if this is a dead end, they're making sure that we can't, go back and try again. Like, we can't figure out where those initial victims, came from if they brought in the village from somewhere else. She shows a river trail, and you actually notice that you've been if you remember, you've been following a river trail this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
She points to the river and says, "We believe that while the infection isn't waterborne, it has been following this river trail, as trade along it is fairly common."
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, and she actually walks over and picks up something on the table, which actually, you know what? I'm gonna have the Admiral roll for this one, because the Admiral realistically might know a little something about this. He does. So she picks up what to most of you just looks like a gun, just like a normal, slightly oddly shaped gun. But the Admiral picks it up and looks at it and says, he doesn't pick it up, she keeps him from touching it, but he looks at it and says, "That's an old Federation gun. That's from the war, or at least from around that time."
Wait a second. Would I know about this gun, considering that I'm literally a Federation robot?
Yeah, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Okay, I'd have you roll for it, but you already know exactly what this is as well. So you'd actually also have, realistically, should have had a chance. If he'd failed at this, I'm probably let you had to go. But yeah, it's a Federation gun from around that time. Actually, yeah, you definitely have more of a reason to know than him. But anyway, point is,
I probably have literally its technical specs in my brain somewhere.
Yeah. So you pick up on it immediately as well, and you're like, yeah, it's a Federation weapon from around the time of the collapse. And it doesn't have any markings on it or anything, but you know the design.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes the gun and she turns it over, and you see it's been carefully sterilized. But she says, "I think this is the culprit."
A gun?
Well, not the gun exactly, but this, as you said, this is an old Federation weapon. We believe that scavengers had been collecting parts from an old Federation ship or an outpost or a base from back during the war, and that's where they got infected.
They got infected on the ship.
She nods, or the base, or whatever else they were in at the time. But yes, we believe. She puts the weapon down again. We believe that they accidentally got into probably a poorly contained biological weapon, infected themselves, and spread that infection across the river delta as they traveled down it, and that infection has been spreading and mutating till it spreads across the planet.
Does this not give you the source of where it came from, or is this just an idea?
Unfortunately, this is just an idea, and the thing is, while I suspect it's right, we need to know where, the first, where the first scavenger was, because this has been traded from village to village, as have a few other Federation, old Federation artifacts. But we need to find out who actually found this scavenging site and where.
I assume the map doesn't have a ship crash down.
She shakes her head. That's why I think, as unlikely as it seems, we're looking at a bunker or maybe an old weapons depot. I don't know why the Federation would use this planet specifically for that. But I guess it is a habitable world, and they might have set this up, during the early years of the war, or even before the war, as part of their preparation.
Can we, if these people, or if they were able to find it themselves, would it not be possible for us to find it? Based off of your idea, they went from up the river and moved down it, spreading the infection accidentally.
She kind of like how waves her hand like kind of so it's like, that's the problem. I suspect it's been traded downriver, but the thing is, until we know the point of origin, it's not like the original scavenging site was on the river bank. More likely, a scavenger from a riverside village found this, brought it home with them, and then traded it down the riverway. But until we know the original location of the scavenging site, we won't be able to find, be able to narrow our search down to a smaller area so we can actually find this original bunker.
But the scavenger can be dead.
Okay, hold on. One at a time, because you both spoke at the same time, and I kind of missed both of you. So Nara first, then Kit, then Falk.
But based off of Atlas killing and interrogating most, the scavenger could just be dead.
She nods and says, "True, but if we can find where this started, at the very least, we won't be able to find the exact location, but we can narrow it down to a smaller radius, more manageable place to search." And then she looks over at Falk. Your question?
Do you have a map of markets in the area?
She nods and points to the village map. We can, we don't know exactly everything about each and every village here, but we've marked a few that the locals have said are trading hubs. And she marks a few locations, many of which are the locations that had been crossed out with an X. And she points to, 2 more up the riverway. We don't know if these places are infected yet, but if they are, that would be, at this point, we suspect it'll either be this location, or if the infection travels further upriver, one of these two.
Were we told the symptoms of the...
Yes. The symptoms of the virus are it deteriorates the cell lining of the lungs and fills it with liquid, so that the victim slowly suffocates due to, suffocates and eventually just suffers from inability to breathe due to the deterioration.
Mm-hmm. What about the nanobots?
That you don't know anything about, actually.
Well, we found it in the blood. Yeah. Do we trace that back to maybe she did it, or was that somebody else?
You don't know. That's something you could ask her.
Sure.
The question is, do you want to ask her that?
I do.
Okay. How do you phrase that question?
Damn.
Yo, we injected some of the virus in our buddies here. No. And right as they're shaking hands.
Oh God. Okay, so no, phrase your question.
Look at his gaping wound. He's gonna spray blood all over you. Oh, just wave. Winter's character has a wound, and he's just waving his arm with blood getting all over the place.
Oh my God. Okay.
I guess the way I'd phrase it is, do you know anything about the nanobites that we found inside one of the infected blood?
There's a moment of silence, and then you hear the sound of guns being like cocked and readied. And Dr. Weiss says, "What did you just say about nanomachines?"
Oh, damn.
And then we're going to take a really quick break right there.